Well, I don't believe there's been a very first step. I mean, you don't wake up one day and you decide, okay, I'm gonna be a music producer. It doesn't do it that way. It is such a unusual occupation. It's been more like a gradual thing, I would say. And I believe that I started to realize that I was going to be a music producer only after I was doing it. Oh, the unforgettable story about my music history. Well, it is probably my music history itself. Music has been something that is with me since I was really, really young. Really, really young. Uh, I have just some picture to remind me, like one of the first instruments I was playing. Uh, and what I remember for sure is that I was nearly 8 years old and I started to collect records, uh, the dance music records. And back then, it was very popular, at least in Italy, the progressive, not progressive house, just progressive uh, genre that is considered to be started by Alex Silvi with his track Atomic. And so ever since, I never really left music, this kind of music. I mean, I've been a very hard clubbers since early age and up to date, that I can make music as a full occupation. I consider myself really, really lucky. So every day, I wake up, I'm happy I can do what I love. Oh yeah, I'm getting used to it now. you know, uh, for me, the being in the Beatport chart is not really the most exciting moment. Um, if I think about all the aspects involving, like the production of any of my record until the last step, there is the release, and so when the record face the uh, the large public, and the most exciting moment for me is the production itself, especially when uh, the project that was only a project, it becomes something that you can call a record. And in that moment, when I listen to it for the first time, that is the best moment for me. I mean, if I like it, I did really uh, so good. I feel so good, and this is better than any other feeling. Even better, maybe even better than playing in a club and see people reaction. Maybe I don't know, because I don't make music to please other people. I make music to please myself because I love it and I need it. It's like my medicine. It I will do it even without any public. I never thought I would make music to be popular, to be famous. I mean, nothing so narcissistic. It just, I would say, rather a selfish thing. It's my drug. So yeah, now and then I decide, of course, to put out some of the music that I produce, and if some people can receive something from my music, I'm glad. But the Beatport chart, like any other chart, I never trust chart that much. I don't believe that the best records are sitting in any chart. So it is really not that important to me in the end. you know, at COVID outbreak, I was already in Thailand. Actually, I just moved few months before, so all the environment around me was already very different, and this is already something that it can change uh, the mind of an artist. Um, then when the COVID hit, uh, yeah, it made probably another difference. I mean, fortunately, in this country, uh, COVID never really hit that hard. So most of the time, clubs were staying open, and I had the possibility to play pretty often. So because of this reason, and because of the crowd here, the people here in clubs, it's way different than in Europe. I mean, in Europe and in Italy, in Rome as well, of course, people um, have a really strong techno background. They have a strong culture, so they are very demanding. And here, they are very demanding, but for the opposite reason. Because here, most of people have no strong music background. I mean, in techno especially, and you know, it is not easy to make techno understandable for them. Something they barely know. They still make confusion between tech house and techno. You know what I mean? So I remember the first time I was playing in Bangkok, and I was playing some a melodic techno set, including some of my music. Some people were getting close to me to ask me, "Sorry, what kind of music is it?" So, but I realized that even if they might like it, there are some aspects of that music that they at the moment cannot accept. You are losing a little bit the dance floor in some moments. So I changed, because of that, the structure of my track somehow. I mean, I start to produce having in mind that I would like to play my music, of course, as a DJ in this country and for these people. So in the last year, um, so the production that it will be out in the near future, some things has already been released. I changed it in a way that is probably less melodic techno and more progressive house, because it seems to me that progressive house, as in the way that is um, meant in this period, it is more uh, like dance floor friendly than melodic techno and melodic house as well. And I really love the approach. I mean, where I get now with my music. So I would say that if COVID-19 had any effect on my music production, it was positive. I don't want to say like obvious things about the economic and psychological effect of the COVID, not just in the music industry, but for everyone. But what I can notice, at least under my perspective and in my genre, is that many producers in the last year will start to make a little bit more laid back um, kind of music. Probably because they are aware of the fact that their music won't be played in clubs in this moment, and will be more played like in podcasts or related to confined, sorry, by on Spotify. So I can feel it change a little bit for many producer, probably because, especially if they were also DJs, uh, they lost a little bit the connection with the clubs, with the crowd, with the people. So that I believe, I mean, I can understand that it might be a natural process. Uh, anyway, music is always full of the culture of the society in a certain period of time. So in this moment, pretty much everywhere in the world, clubs are closed. So I can understand. Uh, Even if I'm very glad for the people that keep to make music for the club, because in techno music, it is by nature made for the club and for the DJ. It's not made for Spotify or Soundcloud or for the video on Instagram. So when it doesn't have that character, it lose a little bit of its nature. Why techno? Well, it's the best genre in the world, isn't it? you know, as I said, I'm familiar with dance music since I was a child, and because I started to went clubbing very very young, in techno clubs, um, I believe there's nothing that can hit you as hard as a techno kick, especially in a club with a proper sound system, powerful sound system. When the techno kick drops, I it's always I of course I had it so many times, but every time it still got me the same feeling. I can't even describe it. And as a music producer, I believe that techno, um, by its nature, it is different by other genre that are confined by their own structure and sounds. For example, in house music, at least classic house music, you cannot produce and call it house music until you don't use a certain sounds and a certain pattern, especially in the drums, for example, like 909, 808, 707, classic drums. Um, while for the techno, for the techno, it is quite the opposite. Um, the, the nature of the techno, it is to create new sounds, to experiment with synthesizers and create something new, something unusual, something unheard. So for me, when I started to make music, it was not even a question what I will start to produce. I always use Ableton Live since the beginning, and that's probably the reason why I would just recommend it. It's so easy, so intuitive, so fast. So if I had to recommend one, I would surely recommend Live. But this is just my experience. There are many other good, though. I would say uh, the important thing is that I believe you really know very well one door, so that you can take off the door everything the door can offer. So uh, you become very good with one. And for the plugins, at the beginning, I was collecting so many of them. Until now, I have uh, like a small, uh, not that small really, but I know just a few of them comparing with before. I know what I need. I know what I know the best, so I will just go for them all the time. And yeah, now and then I can try something new, but like 90% of cases I will just use the same plugin that I was using 2 or 3 years ago. And probably what I'm using the most, it is all the native instrument stuff, since couple of years ago I was getting all the, complete collection. So that in that collection, there are so many plugins that I don't know if there's some human being that can tell. Okay, I know all of them. There are so many. Some of them I never really even opened, but I know they are there in case one day I will need some inspiration or something. And for the plugin, I would say the same thing. Don't really overbuy plugins. Just try to focus on few of them for anything, any task you need on the production, and then try to know that one really, really well.